This little Ned Rig right here, it's super popular in today's industry, but what made it so great in the first place, and where the heck is it going in the future? Let's talk about that.
Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Fish Talk.
Hello, here we are back with another episode of 5 Minute Fish Talk. My name's Ethan, and we got 5 minutes on the timer to discuss all things fishing. This show appears every single Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time Zone, so if you're not subscribed already, click it below to stay tuned. I just loaded 5 minutes on this timer here, and you know what that means. Boop, it's time to get real. We're talking about the past, present, and future of this thing right here, the Ned Rig. Reason we're talking about it is I actually recently wrote an article about this very subject, but I wanted to follow it up with an episode of everyone's favorite show in the world, 5 Minute Fish Talk. You know, the Ned Rig is obviously blowing up like crazy in today's industry. It really works very well. You obviously know that I love fishing it.
Ned Rig.
You probably all love fishing it as well. I know a lot of you do. But let's talk about the past. Let's start to understand what made it so great in the first place. And that way, as we get through the past, we can talk about where it is today. And then we can really start to think about, you know what, where's it going? Where is this going to go? What's the next thing? Because as bass fishermen, we always like to have an edge and try to catch as many fish as possible and beat the people around us and catch more fish than them, right? I mean, everybody's a little competitive. So let's talk about the past. Ned Kehde, you've probably seen my video with him years ago where it's him discussing the Ned Rig as a whole. So I've fished with him in the past, and he is really who this bait is named after. And the reason being is because he's been putting in years and years and years of finesse fishing and logging and trying to understand how fish react to different things. And so he runs this, email list called Finesse News Network, and that's really where I learned about this whole thing. But he's been inspired to continue fishing with, ultra finesse gear to catch as many fish as possible over the years. And it's really, really cool to see. But he didn't necessarily, and he's not going to take credit for this whole finesse movement. A lot of the credit goes back to Chuck Woods, who's the inventor of the beetle. If you know what the beetle spin is, it's that bait right there. We've probably all caught fish on that bait. I know I have, and it's fantastic. It's been around for years, like a very long time. The fact of the matter is that that's what started to really inspire Ned with his finesse tactics. Before the TRD was just a Zinker Z cut in half, basically a Senko style bait cut in half and affixed to the small micro Ned Rig heads. Now all of a sudden Z-Man really has perfected some of these baits. They've got multiple different ones that are available, and obviously it's changed a little bit. But that's a little bit about the past. Obviously, I don't know every detail about the past, but I think that kind of helps you hopefully understand kind of what's developed it over the years. This thing has not always looked this way. It's changed. It's been lighter. It's been heavier. It's been longer worms. It's been shorter grubs, so on and so forth. And they've really modified, and that's why the Finesse TRD is kind of the bee's knees. And that's why I think in today's atmosphere, people are catching so many fish on it, is because there's been years and years and years of lead up to create what is really close to perfect, right? I mean, this thing absolutely crushes, and it looks so simple, but they've really put a lot of time and effort into this system. The way that this thing works underwater is fantastic. We've all seen it. And that's why it's blowing up. People are starting to understand that you don't have to be so complex and throw such glamorous, crazy lures to catch fish. You just have to throw something that appeals to fish. And that's what a Ned Rig does. And so when we start to think about the future, let's talk about that. Obviously, all of you know that I've been doing some interesting videos here recently. The reason being is because there's this common theme, right? I'm trying to find and change ways of fishing the Ned Rig. I think it's a fun series. And so if you want to watch those videos, they're linked up here in a card. But the thing is that I'm looking for new ways to throw it. So like a double Ned Rig, a micro Ned Rig, a Neto rig as I called it, basically a Nico rig with a 3-inch Finesse TRD. I'm trying to find new ways to fish it because I think that over the next several years, what we're going to see is that companies are probably going to be innovating in more finesse ways. There's still going to be big swim baits, there's still going to be big jigs, and those are going to continue to develop as well. But I think what's going to probably happen is we're going to continue to see more innovation in the finesse sector of the market. And that's what excites me. And that's why I think we as anglers and we as a community can continue to experiment and try new things and share them with each other. And that's what one of my goals is on my channel, to be quite honest with you, is to experiment, try new ways. And sometimes it's just for fun. Other times it's simply to try to really just see if this technique's going to work and if it can offer value to you guys. So that's what I really wanted to think about today. I'm going to close this out before it starts chirping at me. So overall, the purpose of this video is really just to get you thinking. It's like, The market is constantly changing. There's new items always available at iCast every single year, and yet most of them are really not that much different than years past. When these came out in, I think, 2014, all of a sudden they exploded, and they outperform, what, 95% of the lures on the market today? Doesn't that seem a little crazy to you? I think this is an awesome case study, and it's like, but what it does to me is it makes me think, it's like, what else is out there that we're not fishing right now that could absolutely crush them? Is there something out there that's undiscovered? And that's why I'm motivated to continue to try new things with my channel. And so if you want to check out the ways I've tried new finesse techniques, check out these end cards right here. Otherwise, if you want to just see me fish a Ned Rig, check out these end cards right here. And most importantly, you best have yourself a fantastic weekend, and we'll catch you next time.